Welcome to the Daylight Sin. So come on in. Get your shine on, baby. Get your shine on, baby. Get your shine on, baby. Hey, we gon' talk about everything and nothing. We gon' share some love, share some tears and laughter too. That's how we do it in the Daylight Sin.
Come on in. Well, I'm back for now. Um, there's been a lot that I've wanted to talk about, a lot that I wanted to discuss. The last major thing that was kind of on my radar to discuss was celebrating the 10-year anniversary of Summer Love and Down for You. And I put it off, and I continue to put it off, and I'm still putting it off. And I am here today, stepping back into the Daylight's Den to discuss my birthday. I am now 32. Yeah, 32. Leading up to this, I've done a lot of reflection and introspection and just thinking within about a lot. And I've been even looking at a lot of pictures of myself when I was younger and trying to locate that person and recognize that person. And interestingly enough, in ways I feel like I couldn't, or even looking at some of those pictures, I'm like, gosh, who was this kid? And who I've become today, would he even recognize me? And all that I've done, all that I am, all that I've become, I am becoming, would that little guy recognize who I am today? To be able to stand in my radicalness, in my ability to be daring, in my ability to just be me. If you didn't catch that, that is the motto that I've had for years, which is be radical, be daring, be you. And stepping into 32, first let me just say I don't know what I'm going to say on this new episode of, well, this installment or whatever you like to call it. I thought about making notes to kind of so I just noticed that somewhere somehow the software stopped recording, and I had about 30 minutes worth of conversation that I did break up into segments. And after it stopped recording and I continued to do the other two segments, the audio on those are botched. They're I can't use them. So initially, I quickly began to wonder if this was even a thing that I needed to do, if I even wanted to share anymore, because I often don't like to try and recreate something that I've done. And I generally don't even like to do it again because I don't feel like it's ever as great as it was initially. So I had to fight those thoughts to decide if it's what I wanted to do. And honestly, even as I'm talking, I'm still deciding if I want to even, or if I even will end up posting this. But a few things that I remember, as I don't remember where it cut off, but to just jump back into the purpose of this, I was stating that I didn't know if I wanted to. So I've been putting off coming back on to do another installment for the podcast in the Daylight Stand because I didn't want things to begin to feel like work. And that's why I was saying again, I'm kind of trying to determine how I feel about doing this because I don't want it to become work. I don't want it to become a thing where it's like, oh, it's got to be perfect. It's got to be this. It's got to be that. Perfect, 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 perfect. No, that's a part of, as I said, 32, hashtag 30 choose, hashtag 30 true. It's understanding that. And one of the things that I continued to say as I was doing the prior recordings was that I have the ability to choose. So that's why I said I'm still deciding. But clearly I'm 2 minutes in, so I'm choosing to do this. So um, one of the things that I had shared was a few journal entries that I had written. And while recording, somebody had saw a post that I made on Instagram about the birthday, and I used the hashtags 30 choose and 30 chew. 30 true, not chew. I mean, I guess I could choose something. But the homie David sent hashtag 30 new. And it kind of stopped me in my tracks actually because, and I chuckled about it and I said, and I remember this because I just finished that, but I chuckled and I said, I love the simple things of life, of being able to just laugh at them or just embrace them with a childlike nature and to be giddy and happy about things as opposed to always having to be serious all the time. But I was like, actually, yeah, that is true. This is a 30 new thing because it is new. This whole decade of 30s is new for me. And I, I don't know what they entail, but I think one of the other things that I said too, with thinking about using these as models or mottos or mantras, I started 30s with this is 30. And then 31 was 31, which was 30 WON. And now I have 30 choose, 30 true, and 30 new. Um, I'm taking that, David, if you didn't know. Um, but um, yeah, because I just forgot my point because I was trying to think about something else. But just saying that it is something that is new and not knowing what they hold. Oh, I was saying that it's kind of funny to me that each year is kind of like the new year and what I labeled the mantra or the hashtags for. It's kind of what the previous year was for me, but continuing that and evolving more in that. 30, I began preparing for 30 well before I turned 30. Jeremy picks on me to this day about that. But when I made that announcement of like, this is 30, like I was already embracing and living in that. And, there was a lot of great things that happened and I was happy about things. And 31 came and that's when I made it about 31, WON. And now looking back, it was like, yeah, 31 was a lot about successes and winning and, being happy and proud of doing things and all of that in the midst of changes. And now at 32, I've been noticing that again, I'm having to choose things and leading into this and evolving, I'm sure, more into that, but having the ability to choose. So I do remember I shared this journal entry that I wrote to my best friend, my bro, my good sis, my good Judy, Jeremy. He picks on me, and the reason why I did all that is because there is a video I did. Yes, I have to give you all backstory. Deal with it. Um, I made a post, and I used to try to keep his identity private, just out of respect, because I was always afraid of like how people would take it or treat it or whatever. But anyways, I decided to keep his identity private for a while. And so one of my videos, I was like, my good friend, and he has not let me live down calling him good friend, being that we actually just celebrated 9 years of friendship, which feels like a lifetime, but he has not let me forget that. But anyways, that was the backstory. I tweeted and not tweeted. See, I'm getting notifications and I get distracted. Anyways, I journaled and said, I was talking to Jeremy last night and I mentioned that I don't want to work on my birthday. I am going to do a big reveal for my actual birthday, but that post is actually going to be something simple, like a picture of me meditating or something like that. 32 is going to be more about being true and choosing. And that entails choosing peace, choosing joy, choosing an abundance of income, choosing to live boldly, choosing myself, choosing my life, choosing my freedom from debt, choosing the ability to decide and to choose, choosing how I show up, choosing how I leave, choosing how I want to love and choosing how I want to express myself, choosing dates and locations for tour, choosing grace, choosing love, choosing staff, and choosing me. In whatever capacity that is, choosing me. I've often lived a life that I've tried to model around doing a lot for other people. At one point, I do recall sharing in that warped audio that I can no longer use. I was sharing a story that my cousin Casey and I talked about yesterday, coming back from the airport. But he was sharing how in one of the life coaching courses, and he was in, and there was a session where this lady was just talking on like she didn't really know what to do in her life right now. So we start talking about that, of just saying that even as coaches, we have to coach ourselves through things. And sometimes we don't recognize that as much as we'd like. That's just being true. 30 true. But her sharing that was a thing of, had that been her friend, she would have been able to give guidance and understanding on exactly what she needed to do. But sometimes, again, being herself, she felt she didn't know what to do. So the instructor told her, it was like, actually, you do. And I wish you would tap into it more, of just trusting yourself and allowing yourself that ability to be there. But he said, you've also created this thing for your life that you're only to create a life of inspiration and to be better for other people and to help them be better. But the thing about being an inspiration is, it's not your job to make sure they are better people. That is their choice. They choose that. All you can do is simply be you and show up and be present. And it struck me because that's been my life. My life has been a lot. Even when I started music, I was like, as long as I can help somebody, that can help somebody else, that can help somebody else, I'm satisfied. And I've lived a life that has been about that, trying to be an inspiration and a resource to so many people. So a part of 32 is choosing me, showing up for myself, choosing that I don't want to go to this event, choosing to stay home, choosing to do whatever I like and whatever I need. Um, and because now I'm traumatized by that audio not working, I'm going to take a break here and check this and see what happens. So I'll be back. All right. So apparently we are still in business for this. And yeah, so it's just stating that I guess this whole thing is going to be about like talking about the preparing for turning 32. And thinking about it, like I'm actually about to read another journal entry I did on May 29th. But a backstory on this before I start was that, um, dang, and I said this in the last part, the audio that I can't use, and I forget how I said it, but it was something about my name. And I was just saying, kind of like, as people get to know me, oh, I know, I'm all over the place. So many thoughts I want to share. Gosh. Okay, center yourself, Trail. So as I say trail, it's a thing that everybody knows. My name is Daytrail, and most of you know the story behind that, and which I'll get into in a second. But for those people who really know me, they call me Trail. And backstory on that again, I didn't like my name Daytrail growing up because it was uncommon. I remember being one of the little kids trying to see if my name was on a keychain, or when Coke came out with putting people names on the cans and bottles. My name was never there. So I knew by the age of like 7, if not younger, to never look for my name on those things because it just wasn't gonna be there. So I shared in like 2009 or 10, 12, something like that, that I did this research of trying to look up my name and didn't see one. So I took a moment to create my own meaning and break it apart of day and trail. Day being a light, trail being a path, or it's something you'd walk on, in that sense of being a path. So my name meaning the path of light. And that's where I get daylights from, because you're connected to me, I'm connected to you. We all have a light, day, trail. Yes. So I've been stating that preparing and looking at things of approaching 32, I've been doing a lot of reflection and introspection and looking at my life, and even wondering, like looking at old pictures of myself, if I even recognize who that is, or if that young me would recognize who I am. But it's funny to also think about how most people would say, like, how in life wow, and this is hitting in a different way, but how we become in life and become the person that we needed as a kid, or when we choose to do that. And I do believe that I have become in a lot of ways that I think young me would look up to me and would be happy to know me. And I say that again because looking at these pictures and looking at my young self, sometimes I don't recognize me. I don't recognize who I am, who that little guy was, simply because I feel like a lot of that was stripped out of me of who I was when I was younger. Being told you're too this, you're too that, you're whether too loud, you're too expressive, you talk too much, too femme, too trying to be too mad, just whatever. Um, that's why 30s and now specifically 32 means so much to me, especially looking at 32s and 30 true, that I get to be true to who I am. Whether that's too outspoken, too loud, too masked, too femme, too butch, I don't give a you fill in the blank. I don't care about the labels. I don't care about how people think I represent or who I represent. I'm only here to represent me and live in that truth of who I am. And understand that sometimes I'm still evolving and I'm still learning. So who I am today won't be who I am in 10 years. Now it'll be a part of my journey, and it is a piece of who I am, but it's not all of who I am. So thinking about that, as I said, like thinking back on like looking at these younger parts of myself, just trying to navigate that, I've truly been trying to grasp those understandings and see if I would recognize myself. And a lot of times I don't. Like I try to look back and I don't. I'm like, who is this guy? But truly, it is a thing that I can attest to and say that I have been intentionally deciding to just show up and be myself. As you guys know, again, with Be Radical, Be Daring, Be You, that's 10, 12 years in the making at this point, as being a model, a motto, and a model for my life, and actually being able to see that ring true. But anyways, this other journal entry I was going to share, again, is from May 29th, and I stated this whole thing. See, 5 minutes down the line, getting distracted. But it was about how I acknowledged myself in this entry that made me think about it. Here's why. This is what I said. Dear Trail, yes, I am acknowledging you as Trail, as that's most familiar. Day Trail is your real name, though these days it comes bearing much responsibility. So much that even while writing this, you're trying to think of what sounds most profound, what sounds the most touching, what is the most touching to help someone else that may be in the same place you're in now. When right now, we, you and I are learning to continue to just be, whatever that may be, whether it's sad, broken, happy, creative, tired, resting, whatever. You also have the freedom to be all of those things at once. The peace you're craving, the stability you're looking for, the provisions you need, the life of abundant resources you seek, you deserve it. And you are worthy of it all. You've been wondering how to celebrate your accomplishments, and you've been busy trying to take it in while yet trying to create the next moment for yourself as well. You've been thinking of another big way to celebrate these big things with something bigger. Even trying to find some simple ways, but then yet wanting to open it up to others. But maybe this is a time for you to just sit and reflect on what you've done. And as you sit back, you realize that you're doing things now that you were asking about and saying that you wanted to do over 10 years ago. So, of course, naturally, yes, you're in this place of, well, what do I need to reimagine or dream for the next 10 years? It's okay to see, it's okay to envision, it's okay for you to also just let things be. Allow things to happen. It is simpler than we make it to be. It doesn't have to be deep and it doesn't have to be major. So, with that said, that's where I got the idea of saying that for this year, although I'm doing this big reveal, which y'all now see, that this birthday reveal hasn't been anything that's so grand and great and um, having to be about body positivity and embracing sexuality. And it hasn't been any of that. Now, the reveal of the countdown has been me and all of those things. But on this day, for my birthday, it is just a thing of simplicity. I get to sit back and reflect and think on those things. I've done a lot for others. Sure, it's been for myself as well, but it's also time that I'm choosing to focus on me. And the reason again why I said I struggled with trying to decide if I wanted to even create this for my birthday or other things was because I didn't want things to feel like work. To feel like, how do I market it better? How do I do this? And with that being said, I, thinking about my reasons for deciding the ability to choose, it was actually a little bit of that happened as far as good sis algorithm leading up to my birthday was because I've done the countdown reveal and I didn't feel like engagement was coming through the way that I wanted it to. And that at times, as a creative, can send us down spirals of, is it worth it? Should I even continue? And it was funny that before I decided to get up to do this tonight, it's now 2:06 a.m., but still, I was in bed after napping throughout the whole day because I've been tired. I went to North Carolina, and that'll be a different story. But got back, and I've just been sleeping and resting. But I was in bed and scrolling through Instagram, and this post of Mariah Carey came up, and she was singing her song that's about like don't give up, don't let go. Um, and it was funny because that 20 seconds kind of hit me because I literally before I saw it just had a thought that was like, maybe I'm just gonna give it up. And I've said that a few times, but it's like maybe that'll be a thing. And I won't do the podcast. I won't do music. I won't do this. I won't do that. But seeing that was kind of that reminder that I needed that it's like, no, it's just okay to choose you. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to step back, but you don't have to give up. If you believe in yourself, you'll make it. You'll get what you need. Those provisions will be made. So I'm going to take another break there and check this audio. So I'll be back. Come on in. We're back. So I'm all over the place with this as well, actually. So there's no set like itinerary, or not itinerary, but like a I don't have anything written for like how I want to do this. So I'm actually just randomly talking and things. So two things I thought about while checking that audio and things, but one of the things I thought about was why my birthday is important to me and why I try to make it. Cause so see, there I go again. But why my birthday is important to me. And yes, why I make birthdays important for everyone that I'm surrounded by. Jeremy and I actually joke a lot with each other because initially, when we became friends, he wasn't really feeling like celebrating his birthdays like that. And I didn't understand why. And I wasn't for it. But so it made me understand why now, why I do it the way that I do. For me, honestly, growing up, I felt like that my birthday was the only day that I felt special. It was the only day that, and I still do this, that this is the day that I get to be the most selfish. Um, I am not considering anyone on this day. And I know that sounds harsh, but truth is, it's again, as it gets into those things where it's like, I don't want to. Especially in that same thing that I said before of living a life of always doing things for other people and wanting them to feel happy. When it's my time, I want that back. I want the love. I want you to shower me with love. And if you don't, we got problems. It's the Gemini in me. Don't take it harsh, or don't take it. You get my point. But truthfully, it felt like that was the only time that I felt important. Um, I grew up with a big family. Um, Surrounded by a lot of people and a lot of family, sometimes it's hard to kind of find your footing or find where you fit in. And so birthdays was a day that I didn't have to share or think about if I fit in or not. I knew that I was loved on my birthday. I knew that I was important and special and all of that. So that followed me even into adulthood again, that it's like, I love my birthday because I get to also shower myself with love. And it just made me think about that again, being 32 and just sitting back in the thought of what that now feels like. I'm like, man, I'm 32. And as I stated, like looking back at those young pictures of myself, and it's like, I didn't think I didn't think I was gonna see this. So to see it, and again, going back to the hashtag that David sent too of 30 new, it's like, this is new. So I get to allow myself mistakes, and I get to learn and figure things out because I ain't never been 32 before. I've never been in my 30s. I've never been any of that. So I get to allow myself the freedom to explore curiosities, explore thought processes, and just everything. And again, I'm actually looking at a picture of myself from my 6th birthday right now. And again, I'm still like, who is this guy? But I love who he's become. And I think that's the beauty of the simplicity of what I'm wanting to leave this with is stated it a few times already, or maybe because I kept repeating in the last one, this is what I remember, but the ability to choose and being able to choose self and what's truly important right now. And I'm loving that I get to do that. And because I don't remember the other point, and it's 2:22 right now, remembering the right place, right time, and thinking great things. And I'm kind of settling this, thinking about the space of gratitude that I'm in. Grateful for life, grateful for friends, family, careers, all that I have, all that I don't have, all that I'm getting, all of that. Being truly grateful for the great things and the bad, because it all makes us and shapes us to be who we are. But I wanted to ramble on more because, of course, it's what I like to do. But I'm also remembering that I get to choose, and I have been choosing to try and keep this short. So I'm going to do that and not ramble much longer. But I think that is something that, as I now make this about people, that's the takeaway from this, is the ability to choose and recognizing that great power that's in that. And yeah, so I'm going to let that be that. If I choose to do a part 2, I will. And if I choose not to, then if y'all have decided to share this moment with me, I hope you enjoy it. But I will close this with my usual of be radical, be daring, be you. No one else can be a better you than you. Everyone else is already taken as well. So you may as well just be you. Much love and peace. Holla.